Now, your question earlier was about making the lighthouse dark while the light was behind it. Exactly. Inner shadow was the way we chose for that. Here's your lighthouse. Yeah, so you already are comfortable with adding inner shadow and keyframing the distance and stuff like that so yeah, just do your timings that when the light's in the back, the shadow's in the front. All right, cool. Well, we already covered that, so I'm happy with that. I think this is where we figured out that work. And you also got to make sure it's above your fog. That was the other trick to it. So right click, layer style, inner shadow. And remember, hitting the solo here just makes it faster and easier to work. And since we're just doing a quick light thing, I'm going to put it at full res. And it was angle and distance, right? So I'm going to start here, go forward a couple seconds just for the fun of it. The angle, when we change that, that's moving a little bit, and then the distance, yeah, like that. So you get that sweeping look from the light passing it. I think that's what we used. And then size. Size gives you a much softer look. So if you want the lighthouse shape, size 0. But if you soften it just a little bit, like 15, now it's more subtle. See the difference? All right. Good times. You had an angle of 30. And mine's going the correct way now. Is yours going the correct way? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to animate the distance and the size. So I'm going to go forward. And this is important. The distance, I'm going to animate that. And the size, I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger as it goes to get that softer look, okay? So I'm working on Sam's file, and this will apply to everybody. All right, so you see that so far, Sam? Yeah. All right, now, Chris, watch this. So his shadow is moving right to left, okay? Now, the light is moving this way. That's why his shadow's going that way, because as it wraps around the back, it's going to be going away from the light. So if Sam tries to then, as the light's coming across, have it go left to right in the opposite direction, he's going to have to wait for, let's pretend the light takes 2 seconds, okay? Now watch this, Sam, you ready? I'm going to click my diamond to create keyframes. There's no change between here and here. They match because I did the diamonds. This is why those are great for those like filler things. So we're going right to left, stops the motion. These diamonds, these keyframes are the same. Now we're going to want to go left to right in the opposite direction. If I start animating here, the shadow is over here. So it may work. I'm going to go forward 3 seconds and let's see, what was it? Was it the distance we did? Let's see what this first distance is. Distance 0. So I'm going to go forward 3 seconds and change my distance to 0. And then the size was originally 5. So I'm going to make that 5 as well. Let's see what direction the light's going. We want to go left to right. Okay. So now it's going right to left, hanging around the back. And then as it comes around the front, it's going like that. This worked because we said wait here by using the exact same keyframes. Otherwise, it's going to like loop around and come in the opposite direction. So that double keyframe thing really does the trick. That makes sense to you? All right, cool. That empty diamond thing is like the best time saver in After Effects. Okay, we'll tackle that. So when I'm done with Chris, make sure all your art, the new art, is up and ready for me to look at, and then we'll tackle that. I'll show you, because bringing in Photoshop files, it's basically the same as bringing in Illustrator, but you got to do it the right way. Yeah, no problem at all. So we're gonna go. Actually, you could try this along with me. You ready, Brandon? We're gonna go File, Import. I'm going to click once on the word file, only one time, okay? Let's see, where is... Here's Chris's folder. Okay. And there's the font. So you're going to choose your Photoshop folder, a file, okay? Only click one time. Only once. Don't open it. Only click one time. So it's not open, right? So when you're working with layered files, you will bring them in properly, and you work in that HDTV preset in Illustrator and Photoshop. Go down to Import As, click once on the dropdown to choose Composition, Retain Layer Sizes. This will bring everything in place in the layers, and then you click your Open button. Did that work for you? So I'll take a look at it after this. So if I double click on your pre-comp here, it's going to have all your artwork all set up. Yes. It depends upon if you want them to move. Like, let's look at how this came in. Like, oh, okay. So yes, let's take a look at that in a second. Just a quick reminder, we're in our modes, right? If I click switches and modes, once your artwork is in, continuously rasterize it, okay? And that'll keep it nice and crisp. So I'm going to just do a quick save as. We'll call this, just so we know this is what happens when it comes in grouped, okay? Then I'm going to open Illustrator. And while I'm opening Illustrator, Brandon, did you, yeah, it's not gonna work in After Effects. So I would try and turn it into shapes if possible in Illustrator. That makes sense. I would suggest trying to turn your font into paths in Illustrator because it's not working. All right, so I got your characters, but none of this is in After Effects, right? Let's see first. I got a feel for what they look like. Great. Now, first thing, our artboard, I just clicked it once. I'm going to do the drop down and change it to HDTV 1080, okay? So now you're going to be at the right aspect ratio. So that's good. Now let's take a look at your layer stack. And I'm going to do a save as, okay? Save on our computer. Initials there, just so we know it's the file I'm giving you. All right, time to dive into layers. Go to our layers panel. Okay. Let's select everything. Right click. Okay, so I don't need that. Okay. All right. Now right here, we can see all this going on here. And there's the background. All right, so I'm going to click on the deer and go to my menu up here. I'm going to click once and I'm going to choose Release Layers to Sequence. Okay. So I'm going to make a new layer by clicking the plus, name it, and I'm going to drag all these layers we sequenced into there. Okay. And then the original one I'm going to delete. This is why I renamed your file. And while we're here, I'm going to go File, Document Color Step, RGB. Perfect. And we can go through and name each layer. So this is the body, right? That's the neck. That's an ear. Is that the back ear or the front ear? Okay. See how I did ear first because there's two of them? Now this is the back of the head, or we'll call it head. And And then is that the muzzle? So that's the bottom mouth. So I'll call it mouth bottom, mouth top. So that's the snout. But I'll call it mouth top, snout, just so we know what it is. You can rename the layers, whatever you like. So your eye is all one layer, okay? Oh, okay. So if I've got the eye, if I click right here, that's going to select that. I can right click. No, it's telling me it's not grouped, which is weird. So it's two different shapes. What happens if I go drag this up, drag that up, and I'm going to delete that empty layer. Oops. Call that eyeball. We'll call this pupil. So did you see how I just dragged them out of that layer? So they're two shapes. When you sequence, you release the sequence, you're able to do that. This is the eyebrow, right? Okay, and then that's the front ear. So I'm going to go ear, front, horns. Is it one horn? Okay. Great. So I'm going to grab all of these. And let's see, I should be able to get them out of that layer. All right, now it's working. So it's got to go above it. And I'll explain this in a second. It's not letting me yet, so I'm going to have to break that one down some more. So I'm going to fix my layer stack later. I'm going to hit save just so I don't lose any of that work. Now this, like we were saying, this is giving us some issues. Let's hide what's good. Let me release that layer sequence just to be sure that's good. Okay, fine. Keep it the way it is. I'll hide that. All right, let's zoom in on this eyeball, see what's what. Got my selection arrow. There's no like clipping mask on them, right? Okay. There's no compound path. What I would suggest is keeping this eyeball together, unless you want the pupil moving side to side. Do you want that happening? Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to click here to select that color. Hit copy, make a new layer. And if I do Command Shift V with this layer selected, it's going to paste it in place. So, and then I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to click here to select the color. Select the layer. Make a new layer. Command Shift V, paste in place. All right. So now we've got them released. So now it's going to work. All right. Pupil in the eyeball, that's good. That's going to go, there's the ear in the front. The eyebrow goes above that. It's the head. Let's turn these layers back on. Yeah, that's what we're going to fix. So there's the body. The neck was above the body. center back the head. It's the border, the horn, eyebrow, eyeball, front. So the mouth. Is that right in the order? So that's looking right. Okay, so I'm going to hit save. That breaks up these. Now, these film reels, we're going to put them on their own layers. So I got to do the same thing. Select the main group, go to my hamburger menu, release layers to sequence. Now I can drag them out of it. So I click here to see which one it is. So they're going in this order. Is that the way you want them? And then the middle is that. So click here to see which one it is. Again. Right now, I think this is your center one. I'm not sure. No, okay, so now they're going inward. So what do you want to call this one? If I went 1, 2, 3, we'll call this one the center reel. Okay, sure. So that one's going to be 5. That one's going to be 6. This one should be 7. All right. Okay, once I saw that, I'm like, all right, well, we're going to have to figure out what makes sense here. This is... Let me release this layer sequence. I guess I already done that. All right, so I'm going to try and drag all this out of the... Nope. Okay. Looks like I got to release it sequence again. Let's drag it out of there. Now it's working. These you can rename in After Effects. That'll be fine. All right, so this one's empty. So now we're going to get rid of it. Okay, so that's just a film strip. This one is over there. That's film 2. Then you got your title. So this one we're going to release the layers to sequence. Drag goes out of it. Okay, now we can delete that. All right, so I'm going to hit save. And we're going to compare these two, okay? So close all. Yeah, releasing layers to sequence, splitting them apart, and then doing that, we should get far more flexibility as animators. Let's find out. So here is film logos R. We're going to go File, Import File. Click once, import as retain layer sizes. Hit open. Double click here to open that pre-comp. Sorry about that. And this is the right aspect ratio. And now you've got all your layers. That makes sense? Now, the next step, let me hit save, would be setting your anchor points and then parenting. So let's hide the border. Let's hide the background. Let's hide your sketch. Okay, good. Save. And then we'll get to yours after this, Brandon. All right, so we're going to start with the body. If this is moving, I think with the pan behind tool, if we had it there, any rotating you did will give it that bucking look. Because that's like where the hind legs would meet the body. All right, now the neck, I think that should be down. Let's try the corner first. I always test it as I'm going along. Like that's what it looks like from the middle. I mean, the corner. That's what it looks like from the middle. I think the middle might work a little better. What do you think? Okay, yeah. I'm going to parent the neck to the body. The ear is going to get parented to the head. And let's see. I'm clicking here to solo. That's where the ear meets the head. So I'm going to put the anchor right there. Solo the head. I think it should be like from this corner. We're going to find out. It's either going to be the corner or the center. The head, I'm going to parent to the neck. And we can rotate it. Yeah, that's good. So, oops. So now you can rotate the head individually, and when you move the neck, the head stays with the neck. Got it? All right, we're going to need to smooth out that body part, like make it more rounded. Mouth bottom is going to be parented to the head. Let's see where your mouth bottom is. So this is where the jaw meets and how it moves. Good. Top snout. Okay. This, I think, would probably be around here. Let's test that. Yeah, okay. Your front. That's easy. That's right there. All right, now let's check our parenting. Mouth, snout, I'm going to parent to the head. Your front is going to be parented to the head. Let's test our head now. Good. We've almost got the whole head rigged. Eyeball is going to be parented to the head. That's easy. Okay, now, how do you foresee this eye moving? Like if you keep it the center, you can scale it and it'll be scaling towards the center. Or if it's going to be like the brow line moving and we had it at the bottom, we can make it look like it's growing taller from the snout. So that's just for you to consider how you want to move it. The pupil will be parented to the eye, but can move independently. See that? And while we're here, here's a little tip for you. I'm going to duplicate the eyeball. Name it Matt. Remember, Matt's I'm going to parent this to the other eyeball. So whatever the eyeball does, this does along. I'm going to get out of my switches and modes. Go to my layer. I want to use this as a matte. Hop over to my track matte. Use an alpha matte. So now, let's go keep it inside. And whatever we do to this eyeball, the matte is going to do with it. Horn's going to be parented to the head. Now the horn. I'm going to put this right there. The horn is only going to move as the head moves. The horn won't move independently. Go. The border on the border, I'm going to parent to the background, just so it's tied to it. And these are your film reels. These, let's test out. If the anchor point is in the middle, it should rotate properly. So I'm going to double click on the pan behind tool to make sure it's the middle of that layer. Good. Same thing for this. Looks like they came in properly. Yep. Good. And if it's off by just a tiny bit, you can adjust it. Actually, I think this should be. Now see how that spins. That's cleaner, I think. It's just up to you to take a look and see. See, that one's off. So it's going to need to be adjusted a little bit. So we'll have to figure that one out. You can do that one on your own. Yeah. It's those. You can figure out, like I said, as long as they're near the center, you should be good. That's all the reels. The reels are not going to need to be parented to anything because they're going to be spinning independently, right? You don't want them moving all together. What's the film going to be doing? Oh, yeah. I remember that. So let's recap that. And then you inspired me to show you something. All right. I'm going to put the anchor points here. Towards that edge. We used Turbulent Displace. We tried several options, but Turbulent Displace worked best. I'll put that right here. All right, now let's zoom in a little bit. Offset turbulence. I'm going to click this edge right here. Let's see what's going to happen. Now, there's got to be a way to get this pinning to work. Like the pinning has not worked for me in ages in After Effects.
Can you bring back
Let's find out. No, you can't break a pre-comp, but you can copy and paste stuff out of a pre-comp into something else. Or you can cut it. Why is pin all locked? Yeah, like this is constantly moving, even though I'm trying to pin it. Okay, that helped. Pin horizontal lock. See how it's not moving anymore? Okay, that's a step. We're going to get this working, and then we'll do the same to the other one. So let's give it a little less, make the size a little smaller. Up there. Now the evolution. We can click that stopwatch, and let's try the expression. I clicked the wrong button. That's what did it. All right, so time asterisk. Let's try 120. Okay, so it's very mild. Let's adjust the size. That's amount more. There we go. A little bit of that look. that's one of them. Let's hide that for a second. Let's try good old CC Bender. And the base is what doesn't move. The top is what moves. So if we say this is our base and this is our top, I'm just clicking once, then clicking again. Now we have some of that, but we could also try the different presets. What if we did a combination of a little bit of this with a little bit of the turbulent displace? So we bend it a little and then displace it. And then you could mess around with your settings to get the look you want based off that. And then let's try one more thing. Let's try and offset the turbulence. Move it over to the right like that, and then up. Yeah. That's a little bit better, you know. And you could always adjust that. So you could see what you're doing here and then apply it to the other one. So that ties into a little bit of that waving you were talking about. And then you're going to figure out how you're doing the text. Oh, so one more thing I wanted to show, and then we'll hop over to Brandon's. I'll give you this for reference. I'll call it film strip. Oops. First I got to spell it right. All right. So here is my film strip. And we're all done. No, I'm just kidding. All right, great. Now, let's build on this. I'm going to use a pen tool. Click once, like that. Give it no fill. Give it a stroke. And we'll make the sprockets white, just so we can see them. Make it a little thinner. And I'll move it down a little bit. Sprockets. All right. Now we go into our stroke, give it dashes, just the number of dashes. All right. But this is lab time, and we always kick it up, offset, and then which direction we want the film to be going. Say it's going that way. Now you've got moving film. So you adjust the distance and the timing to make it move how you want. So I saw this, and this inspired me with that. You know what I mean? So you could do something similar, possibly. So we got this first part working. Now, if I duplicate it, Command D, and then adjust my stroke again, this time, let's see. See what we're doing now. Now we're going to get the film strips. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Here's the dash. Here's the dash. So I can increase this to make less. So it's like the film sprockets we were talking about. And the width is going to be how high it is. So I can move this down, line it up how I want it. Make it fit, then lay them out. That. Then all I have to do is duplicate this top layer. Move it down. Let's move this middle part up. Now it's going to be moving. So the middle part gonna need, because it's gonna eventually run out. The top ones are working perfectly. So this middle part, I'll call this film frames, because that's the frames of the film. So let's try add repeater. And let's take a look at that repeater real quick. Copies, number of copies, the offset. Transform repeater. Okay, let's position 0. Nope, not doing that. And we're not doing that. I'm going to get this working. Those aren't moving. Those aren't moving. So that's what's going on with the repeater. So I'm going to turn off the repeater. And instead, I'm going to this. Oh, I think I got it. You ready? My offset. I can just keep my keyframes, hold down Alt or Option. Let's try loop out. Let's see if loop out goes to the end, and then let me U my keyframes. Let's move these in so we have some looping time. We'll scrub through. There's a hard cut, so we don't want loop out. Let's try loop out. We want loop out ping pong. Let's see what ping pong does. It might go backwards, and we don't want that. Well, I mean, it will go backwards, but will it read like it's going backwards? Yeah, see, now it's going backwards, and we don't want that. So let's undo the loop, and we'll go duplicate this, Command D. And line it up with the last one. Right there. Parent it to the original. So now it's coming through. Got it? And then duplicate our film strip. Put it above. Use it as an alpha mat. No one's the wiser. You're gonna have a loop then. Any questions on that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. If I duplicate this background, Command D, because you want to see the background, that's why I got to duplicate it. Set the body, and it stays inside it. All right? Yes. Yeah, I'm going to send it out tomorrow. So yeah, I'm recording all this because, like I said, tonight's important. I'm, helping everyone kick their ideas up and then teaching those concepts. Like you said, right off the bat, you're like alpha mat. You're like, see, you're getting it. It's like, what do they call it in Photoshop? A clipping path, a clipping mask or something, clipping path or something like that. All right, great. Now we'll take a look at Brandon's. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, and I'll send that out. Second.
I'll try this down.
Okay. All right. Now, second I saw this, I really love this texture on here. That's very nicely done. So here's your spotlight. Effects. Glow. Oh, I'm saving this. I already did a save as. I'm going to send it to you so you can take a look too. So here's your glow, right? And I'm going to hop over to 32 bits per channel to get more detail. Now let's take a look at this. there. Increase the radius. And then I'm going to, glow. And I'm going to tamp it down a little bit. And the radius, I'm going to put an expression in it by holding down Alt and Option. Let's try wiggle, double click to complete it. Let's say twice a second, an amount of 100, click out of it. And this should give a soft little flicker to the light, just ever so slight. See it on the edges? Yeah, no problem. Wait, let me try 200. Yeah. I think the 100 was reading more. And let's try 3 times a second. That's a little bit better. So that's the radius glowing back and forth a little bit. And let's try the threshold. We'll do a very mild one on the threshold. So I'm going to hold down Alt or Option, wiggle, double click to complete. Let's try once a second. Let's try 20. So see how intense that is over time on the threshold? Let's try 02. Now that's a little bit better. Oh, yeah. So I held down Alt or Option and I clicked on one stopwatch. So I'll do it on intensity. So I click, and then here's my expression. I start typing in, double click to autocomplete it. First number is times per second. This is what glow intensity. So let's do once a second, comma. Let's try 10, something small. See what that did with the intensity? Like, I'm going to turn off that expression just because I was just showing you how I did it. So I hold down Alt or Option, click again, turn it off. And here we've got that nice, subtle little life to your light. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing that popped out when I saw that. I'm like, let's give that a little life. Now your curtains is where it's going to get a little tricky. There is an effect called curtain, but it's going to do this. Give it a little ripple. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is this. I just wanted to show you what the effect does. So check this out. If we go layer, new, solid. This squeaking chair, I'm telling you, I'm not going to make it this semester. All right, here we go. There's our curtain ripple. Got it? Now, what we can do is duplicate our curtain, put it over top, use it as an alpha matte. Whenever you see stuff missing from here, try clicking these just to, see what's missing. Alpha matte. Good. Now we've got this, and I'm going to do a blending mode. I'm going to do luminosity. Let's try. Why are we not seeing through it? That's the weirdest thing about this. Like, this should be working. But it's not. Like, that's the craziest part about this. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just do opacity. And I turned off the tritone effect. And it's the fractal noise that's driving it. So let's drop down the preview. Nice little soft little flutter of the curtain if you wanted. So let's do U. There's no keyframes. Okay, fine. it only does it for a short amount of time.
40%.
Oh, it's on this effect. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. Okay, here's the keyframes. So if I drag it and then drag it out like that, now it's going to run. It's slower. Yeah, so what we would do is it should be rippling with it. Oh, wait, I've got an idea. Hold up a second. All right, now let's get serious about this. So let's solo this. We got a grayscale image, right? And you were saying, hey, what if we blah, blah, blah? And I said, no, we don't do that in here, but we do. So I'm going to use a displacement map. I'm going to throw it on your curtain. I'm going to hide this. And I'm going to go here. And let's choose. So it's layer number 2. Curtain. See what that looks like. So we're starting to get it there. So 19's a bit too severe. Now we're getting the ripple of the text with that. So let's turn this back on. And that was, yeah. And let's take this down even more. And you know what? Here's what we had to do. I was on the wrong layer the whole time. Now the luminosity is working, and now you got the whole thought going complete. That. So you can change your timing by changing your keyframes. Right. Sorry, I just saw that, and it, you know, my mind was like, "Oh, we could do this, we could do that," you know.
I'm really happy whenever that, and I'll see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did one.
Yeah, well, you know, this was already in there, and we could fine tune and tweak this, but you're getting that displacement, you're getting that little bit of life, and like Sam said, we're distressing the text too, which is very important as that's moving. Now, let's see. Which is the final one? Final? Or is it rig 2? All right, so okay. I think this is empty, right? All right. So I'm gonna bring that in again by going import file, because that was Illustrator, right?
Yeah.
And it's final. Now I'm going to click once here, go composition, retain layer sizes, then hit open. And here's the character broke out the way it was. First step, boom. We're going to continuously rasterize our layers to keep them looking nice. One sec. All right. And let's talk about our parenting. The tail, at the lower leg, shoe, and we're going to obviously do anchor points too. Let's zoom in. Now you guys can go whenever you want. You can watch me break this down. And Brandon, if you got the time, we can stick around a little bit longer and knock this out, okay? So I'm going to solo it. I want this to be where... Okay, yeah, so the snout is going to be where the snout meets the body. Smile. Yeah. I'm going to keep these in the middle for now, because I don't know how it's going to be moving. Now the muzzle. I'm going to put this at the bottom, just in case there's any squash and stretch happening. You know what I mean? That's my first thought, is that's where the motion would come from. Now the eyebrows, I don't know how they're going to move. If you have it at the corner, it's going to move from that corner as opposed to if you have it the.
Maybe it's one of like, maybe like how long you
Are your blinks going to be like? Are you going to use eyelids or are you going to scale the eyeball?
I'm probably gonna make that.
Okay, you could do that in here too.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave eyes. Now the ear. That's where it meets the body. So it's going to be like right around here. Or I should say meets the head. The head, well, put it near the bottom because that's where it rotates with the neck. You know what I mean? Right there, where it meets the head. And why are we not seeing a hand here? Oh, there's two of them?
Hey, the one that's one.
Gotcha. So the fist, it's going to be right there where it meets the wrist. And same thing with the normal hand. It's going to be where it meets the wrist. The upper arm is going to be basically the center right there. Forearm is going to be the center where it meets there where the elbow is going to be. Collar. I'm going to keep that basically where that is.
That's not right.
And the neck down here at the bottom. Body. I'm going to put it at the bottom because if you're going to have a squash and stretch, you're going to want that weight to go where the hips are. And now the left side of the body, you can follow along with the anchor points for that. Now let's look at your parenting. So you're cool with doing the anchor points for that side. All right. Now the snout is going to be parented to the head. Smile. Let's see if that's the snout. The smile is going to be the muzzle. Yep. Okay. Eyebrows are the head. That one's easy. Pupils are the head. Oops. Let's see if I can do multiple layers at once. Not something I try very often. Here we go. The head is going to be parented to the neck. Ear, parented to the head. The hands are going to be parented to the forearm. Forearm is going to be parented to the upper arm. The upper arm is going to be parented to the torso. Torso. Is that body? Forearm right is parented to the upper arm right. Collar will be parented to the neck's going to be moving inside the collar. And I think the collar is going to move with the neck. So for now, let's put on the neck. The neck will be parented to the body. To the forearm. Forearm is going to be parented to the upper arm. Now we're at the legs. Okay. The shoe is going to be parented to the lower leg. The lower leg's going to be parented to the upper leg. Lower leg right. All right, so it looks right. The upper leg left is going to be parented to the body. That's because there's no hips. And then shoe right is going to be parented to the lower leg right. Lower leg right is going to be parented to the upper leg, left, sorry. The tail is going to be parented to the body. So we can see what broke. Upper arm needs to be parented to the body. So now it's the muzzle. These little tests are what save you time. Now your character's full. And you can rotate whatever pieces you need. Like I said, this side, the left side, you're going to need to do the anchor points for and just match them up to the right side that we got done. All right, you got your continuous rasterize on. You're at the right aspect ratio. Nice job. Does that make sense, the parenting order? Like you go from from bottom to top. So like the hand is parented to the forearm, forearm's parented to the upper arm, upper arm's parented to the body. Foot to the lower leg to the upper leg to the body or the hips. So, all right, cool.